Wherever the red dot goes, ya bang. Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6. I am halfway there. Thus begins Zombie Jason. It used to be my favorite when I was growing up as a kid. This was actually my favorite one. And I think it was just because of the silly humor. You've got, the caretaker breaking the fourth wall. You've got that kill out in, with the paintballers, the guy who's pissed off, hacking everything up. With he throws his face into the tree and he comes away and he's got a smiley face. And they definitely went the comedic route. But it's not like overly comedic. It has a sillier tone to it for sure. But I'm not sure how this was received in theaters. I'm curious on that. Like, when this came out, were people actually frightened by this film, or were they more like just having a good time and laughing it up? Like, I'm curious. I don't know. Obviously, I didn't see this in theaters. I was a little too young. But let's get into this film. What I find funny about this is that if Tommy didn't go and dig Jason up, no one would have died. And I guess Jason probably would have stayed dead forever, right? I mean, unless someone else dug him up and happened to be sticking a fence post in him and lightning striking it twice, proof that lightning does strike the same place twice. If anyone ever tells you that, tell them to watch this movie, because that's proof. It's funny to watch this, and he does. He goes to the sheriff and he's like, "But I tried to destroy him, but I fucked up." And it's like, you tried to destroy him? Like, he was underground buried. I guess he just thought maybe someone else would release him eventually. But and what are the odds that lightning's going to strike his rod and bring him to life? I like when he's stabbing him, and you can clearly see that Jason's chest cavity is hollow and like flaky. It's like he's basically dust. I mean, he should be dust because in 5 they say he's cremated, but as I said, that doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden he just has an eyeball in his whole chest and everything. Who cares? It's fun. I always love in movies how when people dig graves, they dig these perfectly rectangular, just the perfect size as the casket. It's ridiculous, but it literally happens in like 99% of films I watch, and I always have to have a good little chuckle. And this is where Jason gets more of like his superhuman strength. Now, he's been strong in the past, no doubt about it. Him being able to, crush Rick's head in part 3 and whatnot. But this one, he's pulling guys this way and their arms are fucking ripping off, and he's turning guys backwards on themselves, and his strength in this is ridiculous, and his aim is on point. He's got himself a utility belt. He becomes fucking Batman in this. He pulls this thing down, he throws it across. Shit, man. He's got his Deadeye back from Friday the 13th 3 with that harpoon gun. I also love, come on, who doesn't love? I'm sure there's plenty of people who don't love this movie and probably this scene, but I just love this whole, James Bond, or should I say Jason Bond opening, with him slicing through the thing and is bleeding down the title. Oh, it's so great. He comes into the eye of Jason. Yeah, it's so good. I like that, instead of Camp Crystal Lake just being completely off limits to everybody, now they've just changed the name so that they can forget about it. That's the way to do it. Just change the name, Forest Green, you're good to go. Took 6 films, and we finally have kids at camp. Like, they're all supposed to be around the summer camp and him killing camp counselors, and except for like we don't even see kids in the opening of 1, do we? It's just the counselor. So yeah, this is the first time we actually ever see children at summer camp. One thing that the kill count in this movie I counted was 18 deaths, and I'm pretty surprised by the lack of gore in this. I was I was expecting, it's been a little while since I've watched all of these, and I just remember this one being more gory. There's definitely a lot of deaths. I mean, there's 18 deaths, so there is a lot. And it's not like super tame, but I don't know. I don't know what I thought, but it's a lot less gory than I remember. Not a lot of on-screen kills. And most of the ones that aren't that spectacular. So I was kind of underwhelmed by the gore itself in this movie. I like that Jason takes the fence post that brings him back to life to go then take lives with it. And the paintball scene. The paintball scene, I know a lot of people... I've read a lot of shit about that scene. I enjoy it. I enjoy this whole movie. I enjoy this entire franchise as a whole. But I do love he decapitates 3 people on one fell swoop. Good thing they're all the same height. And then that dorky guy behind him still tries to shoot him with a paintball. And then once the paintball goes off of him and he doesn't stop, that's when he decides to get scared. Not when he sees 3 of his coworkers getting decapitated all at once. When a paintball hits him and he's like, no, I'm not playing. And that guy's like, oh shit, he's not playing? I'm out of here. So yeah, this film is super, super silly. Speaking of the red dot, go bang. That laser sight on the top of this gun is huge. It's like the size of the gun. Jesus. I do like the humor in this movie. It works for me. I know it doesn't work for a lot of people, and this is one of those films. Like, I know there seems to be a separation between fans of this series. And there seems to be fans on the side of 1 through 5. And then there's fans of later entries because they like the more comedic angle. Like Jason X is definitely the most comedic of all of them. But 6 is still pretty goofy. I enjoy it all, as I've said. I like that one of the towns in this is called Carpenter. That one's pretty obvious. The caretaker's death. Breaks the bottle, stabs the guy in the throat. Then the 2 little lovebirds, the one guy comes over and witnesses the caretaker's death. And for some reason, Jason doesn't usually do this, but for some reason he comes around and Jason is just hacking the caretaker up. He's already dead, but Jason's just sitting there hacking on him. I'm not sure why. He doesn't usually stick around and just keep hacking on people, but that was funny when that. Has anyone ever played this card game? This girl comes up with in here. You shuffle Jason as the jack, and you make the cabins, and the faces are the counselors, and you got to try to find what cabin Jason's in. Every time I've ever watched this film, I've always wished that I had cool friends that would want to play. Now, I think if I've paid attention enough, which I have a few times, I don't think that she puts out the instructions enough to play it, but you could add on to it a little bit, elaborate on it, and I think you could get that up. I'm sure if I went on Google, someone would have that game all mapped out and how to play it, and YouTube videos of people playing it, but I've always wanted to play it. Anyone played that? I'm curious. My favorite scene in this whole film, for sure. I really like the ending scene too. The fight between Jason and Tommy out on the water. I love that scene. It's a great scene. But my favorite scene in this whole movie is everything with Court and Nikki. Everything. They come in on them having sex. Court goes out, finds the thing. Then he comes back in. Starts the car up. Teenage Frankenstein's playing on the radio. He's throwing the girl around. She gets her head smashed through. He gets the fucking thing stabbed through his ear, and the music wah wah wah, and then the RV flips over and Jason bursts out. That whole sequence, I just love it every time. There was times in this movie where I found myself kind of just, I was eating snacks and I was doing whatever and I was looking up and I was paying attention, don't get me wrong. But like during that scene and during every time I've ever watched that scene, I'm always just glued. I love that scene. I just love that whole sequence. Definitely my favorite part of the whole movie. I'm not sure why Tommy needs to continue to keep his head down in Megan's lap when she's driving around. I mean, I'm guessing she just likes it, with that hairy turn coming up. But I just laughed because it's just like, the cops are chasing you. Like, what does it matter if anyone sees them? Like, you're in trouble. You don't think they have your license plate? You're the sheriff's daughter. You know how this works. So she just keeps like, no, keep down. It's like, for what? Because she thinks they're going to shoot him? I mean, I guess that could be it. But I don't know. Every time I watch it, I'm like, he could put his head up. I think it'd be all right. In fact, you'd be able to drive a fuckload better. I was going to say something about heads and laps while driving, but then I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's going to be taken wrong. But it's very hard to drive. Not that I know. I like little subtle jokes in this. When the sheriff is talking and he's about to leave, and Megan and Tommy are grilling him for what time the killings took place, and he tells them the time, and she's like, he was with me the whole time. And then his little deputy guy is like, all right, Flash, let's go. Like, I love that he calls him Flash. I love just those little quick, little tiny jokes you almost miss if you blink your ears, I guess. I mean, if you didn't listen, I guess. But yeah, I just love little tiny jokes throughout here. I also fucking find that scene funny because the sheriff is like, Tommy's a psychopath. He's a murderer, Megan. Okay, stay here with him. He's not even in a cage yet. He's literally sitting 2 feet away from his daughter. His daughter's sitting right here. Tommy's literally, he could reach out and touch her. And he doesn't put him in the cell before he leaves. He just tells his deputy to. It walks out the door, and Megan and him are like face to face in that moment. I'm just like, really? Like, you're leaving her with the psychopath. Why wouldn't you take her with you? If you really believe that Jason isn't out there, wouldn't you want her to be as far away from the psycho as possible? Why would he leave her there with the killer, especially when he's not even handcuffed? That's stupid. I really like their kiss. I think it's cute. Like, at first it's supposed to be a diversion tactic, and then they both like are into it, and they keep like getting close-ups on their eyes. I just think it's a cute little scene. I like that Jason doesn't kill any kids in this. I just like that he's out there to clear out the counselors and anyone who gets in his path. It's not that I have an aversion to that or like I'm completely against him hacking kids. I don't know. I just feel like it wouldn't fit this series. I don't know why. I like that he like comes past them and is like, nah, like you guys, that's not what I'm here for. Like, I was a kid here. Like, I'm here to punish the people who are watching you. And, I don't know. It just works for me. The sheriff does put up a really good fight here. I mean, he gives one of the best fights against Jason. He pummels his ass. Shoots him with a shotgun like 3-4 times. He goes and he grabs branches, knocks him over, beating his head with a rock, before he finally is crumpled and folded like a fucking lawn chair. He just, I really, I like that he gave him at least a little bit of fight. And as I said, the Jason versus Tommy scene is pretty much iconic, I think, at this point in the franchise. Goes out there, he puts fire around it. I'm not sure why. I guess he's trying to catch him on fire. I don't know. Like, there's water right there. All he has to duck back down and he'll be not on fire. And he's indestructible. So the fire thing is just for effect. It's just to look cool. It has no purpose at all. And, then Megan comes out and, Tommy is drowned and she takes the propeller. It so happens to be right there, which is great. And I love how it's like in his neck and his eye like pops open, the one he has. And then it like, I love when it cracks. And then the blood just... I love that shit, man. That's a great scene. And Tommy is unconscious a while, but not out of the norm. I mean, it takes 8 minutes for you to start to have brain damage from being, not having any air to your brain. And I actually timed it. It's only about 2.5 minutes before she gets him back to shore. So it's very much within the realm of believability. Now, how long would it take for her to swim out there, best Jason, swim him back, give him CPR? It would have taken a lot longer in 2 minutes. Let's fucking shit you not. But in the movie, it only takes 2 minutes. So that's what I have to go off of. Yeah, so I think I talked about everything here. Yes. Yeah. So, how did Tommy get his mask? I said that in the last few, and it's such a stupid question. He got it because he just got it. But I just have to laugh. I'm like, that would be in police evidence. Come on. It's ridiculous. But yeah. So getting to my final thing here. We got the kills at 18, as I said. Lots of deaths in this. Not as many as the last one, though. That was surprising as well. The last movie had 22. That's still the best so far. 5. The one without Jason has the most kills so far of these 6. My favorite kill in this is the sheriff's death when he just folds him backwards. I love it. It's definitely the most, I don't know, horrific. It looks painful. It looks awful. I think it's a great kill. My favorite character in this is Court. I think everything he says is hilarious. I just really like him a lot. And my hottest chick, I will have to give, even though Megan is very, very beautiful, I'm going to give it to Nikki because she knows how to work out and fuck at the same time. My kind of lady. So anyway, guys, all right. I hopefully will get a few done tomorrow. Actually, I have some free time. So it seems like I have a lot of free time, but believe it or not, I don't. So hopefully I might get 2 or 3 of these done tomorrow. So anyway, until then, guys,